My LSAT score wasn't great. I barely got into law school. Then when I graduated, no one hired me.
Oh crap, I gotta find a job. Started applying, didn't really know what I was doing.
What's something people are surprised to learn about Chris Earley?
I was very angry. The worst thing is to be angry and to become a lawyer because you think like, I have a license to be a jerk.
Chris, welcome to the Answering Cases podcast. I'm really excited to have you on because your story isn't the typical top law school, prestigious firm, and everything worked out. In fact, it was almost the opposite. You barely got into law school, struggled to find a job after graduating, and instead of waiting for an opportunity, you created one yourself. How are you doing today, Chris?
I'm doing wonderfully. Thank you for having me, Elijah. I really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
Awesome. Today, you've built one of Boston's thriving personal injury law firms, and you've become a strong advocate for helping attorneys think like business owners instead of just practitioners. And I came across a post you shared that really resonated with me. You wrote, "My LSAT score wasn't great. I barely got into law school. Then when I graduated, no one hired me. Yet the law firm I was forced to start keeps on growing and growing." I think that's incredibly encouraging for aspiring lawyers, so let's start there. When you received your LSAT score, what was going through your mind? Did you think your dream of becoming a lawyer might not happen?
I wasn't sure, Elijah. I mean, I just didn't get the best score. But I was not deterred. So in fact, I started applying to law school, and then no one was letting me in. I actually called the law school that I ultimately went to and just tried, to talk to someone at admissions, like, hey, I'd love an opportunity to be admitted. Because Elijah, all we need is a foot in the door, and then the rest, it's over. Then we have a chance. Then we can do it, right? But until we're given that chance to walk through the door, we're kind of screwed. So yeah, I had a low score, but I just want to share with the audience that didn't stop me. Like, okay, that's the score. So what? Let's keep moving and pushing and creating opportunities for ourselves. So that was kind of my approach back then, like 25 years ago. Oh my God.
When you were there, did that create any self-doubt? Did you ever feel like you had to prove that you belonged?
In law school, like once I got in? No, because I was like, I'm going to do the work. I'm going to I don't mind shoveling dirt. Like, I don't mind sweating, and I don't mind that crap. So I don't mind hard work. Just had to have the chance, the opportunity. So I kind of like to put my head down and work. So I felt very motivated. Like I think a lot of law students and lawyers are afraid of failure. We set high standards for ourselves. We don't want to fail, like any person for that matter, frankly. And so, yeah, I was just very motivated to succeed. I would always read ahead in the lessons to stay ahead of stuff. I just really had to I had to work really hard in law school, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Then after graduation, firms weren't exactly lining up to hire you. Can you walk us through that season of life? You just received your diploma. What did rejection feel like?
Well, I just want to share with the audience, in law school, I wasn't networking. I don't think LinkedIn even existed, for that matter. There was no social media.
25 years ago?
Yeah, right. A long time ago, right? So but time just flies. But at that time, see, I made a fatal mistake, Elijah. Again, didn't network, didn't meet people, have coffee with people. I'm not from Boston, and I didn't really know I didn't know any lawyers. I never even knew a lawyer growing up. I thought there were this, special class of people, way above my pay grade. And so suddenly I was like, oh crap, I got to find a job. Started applying, didn't really know what I was doing. I really didn't blame these employers on hiring because I didn't really have anything to offer them. I was kind of totally ignorant and clueless, didn't come out of the, top school. So why would I be attractive? But what happens to you is all a blessing. It's how you look at it. So thank God no one gave me a job because I was forced to start my own job, my own firm. Water finds its level. I feel like we if we keep going, we're going to find our happy place where we belong, where we should be, I feel like. And my water had to go up and down like a current, kind of chaotically. Then it kind of found a good spot to be in, right? But I'm very lucky. I had a lot of luck. Very fortunate to be here.
And do you think that if a firm ever offered you your dream job, do you think your personal injury law group would even exist today?
Probably not. No. And thank God no one did offer me a job, right? Because it's hard to change. A lot of lawyers, you start working a job and hopefully you're happy. If you're not happy, switch to even a different career or to a different firm, or hang a shingle and open up your practice. But it can be scary if you have a family, if you're older. I was young, no kids, no wife. I was young and dumb, so I could just hang a shingle and just let it rip. But like that was the best thing, Elijah, that could have happened to me was rejection. So I speak to lawyers across the country and I always kind of say the same thing. It's not what happens to you, it's what happens for you, right? Like your challenges, your setbacks are like blessings. It's all how you frame it in your mind. That's been helpful for me.
So at some point, you just stopped waiting for opportunity to come and decided to create your own. What was the moment when you realized, I'm going to start my own law firm? Like, how many rejections did it take for you to have that determination?
Well, I don't honestly. There were so many. I kind of gave up on that chase. I was like, no one's gonna hire me. So I met a kind older lawyer. He was 40 years older than me, and he let me rent space in his office, and that was a lucky turn for me because I got to see like how he operated, and I say, oh, with personal injury, like I can actually support myself. I can pay my bills. Because Elijah, I had like crazy student loans. I was living in a cruel, tiny studio apartment. I had nothing like. But when you're in that stage, you don't even know it's hard because like you're not even like you're not even aware. But frankly, like that's a first world problem. I had a law degree. Like that's a big freaking blessing. And so, but at the time, I was a little scared because I didn't have anything to make money, opportunities to make money. And so I met a nice lawyer. He gave me an opportunity to rent space. We worked a little bit together. And then I started, my practice that was outside of Boston. I went to Boston there, many years and I'm still there, but we need people to help us. I would encourage the audience, get a mentor, get a few mentors. I didn't do that in law school. Like, I know I keep talking about that, but that was a fatal mistake. Get mentors, ask like, I don't know how to do this. How do you do this? Like, I'm confused. Can you help me? And lawyers, older people will help you because it makes them feel good. They want to help you. So I encourage you, reach out to people older than you who've been there before so you can avoid mistakes.
The first time you've opened up shop, what did success look like? Was it a huge settlement or was it just simply having enough settlements to pay the bills?
Both. I remember one lady, I represented her. She was a lovely human being. This was like a long time ago, and she trusted me to handle her case. And that settlement was enough where I said, okay, I can support myself, and that got me going. So I remember her, and she was a lovely person. So I encourage the audience, seek to help people, like give value, and you'll be compensated, you'll be rewarded, all that good stuff. But I found my happy space, Elijah. I was like, okay, this is where I belong. I should be serving people who are injured and need help against big, powerful insurance companies who don't care about them. Because I consider myself an underdog, so I identify. Like you can't fake it. You can't do work and be a fraud, and just like be a fake. Like you have to be real in your work, or else people are going to sniff it out and see you're not authentic. Like I'm where I belong, helping people who need help, right? Because I can identify with that need. Because again, I didn't know any lawyers growing up, and so I think it's important to do work that lights you up, that you're passionate about, that you actually care about, because you can't fake this stuff. People will smell it.
Yeah, there's this post that you actually have on LinkedIn, and it was about helping other people first, then the results will naturally follow. You remember that
Totally.
post?
Yeah, I read a lot about giving. Like I was a taker for
Hmm.
years and years and years. I was not like a evil, unethical taker. I was just like, how can Elijah help me? Like what? Now
Hmm.
it's kind of like, hey, like how can I help you? And that's not like fake. That's actually real. Like how can I give value to you, Elijah? Like that's where I think a lot of us, younger people, especially me, I fell short. So the person who seeks to give value and help people wins. Chase helping, chase impact, chase service, and the universe will flood you with blessings. God, I'm almost 50. This took me a long time to figure out. Like you, I'm a student. We're all students trying to get better. But if you give, you'll be so happier in life, I find personally. Yeah.
At what age did you realize that this is a lifelong learning about business and, not just practicing law, but actually learning how to build a company?
Yeah, honestly, when the pandemic struck, because I
Hmm.
was, at home, like, kind of worried and panicking, like, how am I going to pay? I have a family of
Hmm.
3 people who depend on me. How am I going to make it happen? And so I decided to start reading business books and listen to business podcasts. And then, like, I want to impress on the audience, Elijah. That was 6 years ago. You can go so far in 5 or 6 years. You can like really get a lot done. And I was just a lawyer. I was very, me and an assistant. There were 2 people. We've 10x the size of the operation, right? Size the personnel, because I expanded my mind. The owner of any business, law firm, plumbing service, Chick-fil-A, like wherever the heck you're running, like the business, the owner's the lid of the business. And specifically, the way the owner thinks is the capacity, the limit, the lid on the growth. My lid was very low, so my company was not, well run like a business. I started to grow, and I have a lid today, but I'm trying to push that lid higher and higher, and sharing and learning, collaborating. But yeah, I've only been probably 6 years thinking about this like a business, but I really found, so first I found my space as a personal injury lawyer. This lights me up. Now I'm playing a bigger game. Personal injury law firm CEO, right? Hires the lawyers, who finds the lawyers, who grows the business, leadership, culture in my firm. That's the stuff I think I'm somewhat decent at, as opposed to everything else, which I'm not very good at, frankly.
So, how many lawyers do you currently have now working for Early Personal Injury Law Group?
So we have 3 lawyers. I had one total team member, I think 1 or 2 total at the time of the pandemic, and now we're up to 20. So, but look, I've been punched in the face. I talked about that, on LinkedIn constantly, because that's my life. Constant setbacks, constant hits. But again, how do you look at that stuff? That stuff makes you tougher. Like all your rejections, your disappointments, that actually toughens you up and makes you stronger. So if you keep going, I talked about this recently on a video on LinkedIn, like you have to take risks. And if you take risks, a lot of them will fail. Some may fail miserably, but if you get 1 or 2 wins, right? And you put those together, you keep stacking wins, you could really, get far. But I think he or she who keeps going, determined, unrelenting perseverance is going to be okay.
And because of that attitude, how big has Early Law Group grown? Like, how many
Well,
lawyers do we have? How
yeah.
many cases do we currently handle? Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah. So, like I said, 3 total attorneys. The inventory. We have hundreds of cases. We have hundreds of cases in house. We have hundreds of cases that we refer out to other firms. I really focus on. I think one of the biggest things is getting the phone to ring with new business, because you can have a big team, but if you got to feed them cases, right, or else you're going to have a very unhealthy organization. So my main focus right now is getting the phone to ring. Always building the brand, growing the brand. I'm not on LinkedIn incidentally or accidentally. I'm in there purposefully to be, to be a presence, right? To be top of mind. Yeah. When you ask me to do this podcast, I'm like, hell yeah. Like you have to be getting your name out there. That's why I appreciate you, asked me to come on.
I'm actually wanting to ask you this because I've seen a video of you on YouTube, and it was you in a conference, and you told the audience lawyers struggle to let go of control. They have this white knuckle approach. What's that all about? When you first started, did you really want total control of your business?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I can only speak for myself as a lawyer. Like a lot of us are type A control freaks. Only I can go to court and do that motion. Only I can try that case. That's BS. Like that's completely delusional. There are people that can definitely do it better than you. So I think the practitioner who's really focused on expanding, building their business must let go of that vine, has to let go of control and get used to being extremely uncomfortable with doing that. The more you let go, they say the more you grow. And I can attest that's a fact, right? If you're doing everything, if you're making the coffee, you're going to the post office, you're doing the printing, and you're, fixing the copier, like you are busy and you're not productive. You're not helping yourself grow. Hire people who are better at that than you. And there's leverage. There's great power. There's great exponential leverage with delegation. So the more I started to delegate, the more things started to grow. And every day, Elijah, I'm trying to delegate something new every single day. Literally, like I'm gonna stop doing this and stop doing that, because I like to go hang out with my family. I don't want to be tied to my phone when I'm with them. I like to just have stuff work without me having to do everything. That's been monumental for my life, frankly, and my family.
That's true. I've seen a LinkedIn post that you were in Disneyland the other day, correct?
Yeah, it was
Or the other
awesome.
week.
Yeah, it's so
How was
cool.
it?
Amazing. Have you ever been there?
No, I haven't actually. I haven't had the time.
Okay. Someday I encourage you, if you can get there, it's amazing. I had a wonderful opportunity. I got to spend Father's Day there, just like
Mhm.
really, really awesome. And I would just once again encourage the audience, like know what your why is. Like, why are you doing what you do? If you're an attorney, your identity shouldn't be as an attorney, right? My identity is, father, husband. That's who I am. And the business supports those things. So the business serves me and my family as opposed to me serving the business. Because if I serve the business, I'd be working 24/7. So again, let go to grow and be really focused, intentional on like what you want from the business, have clarity. Where do you want to be in 5 years, 10 years? Okay. Now you know what you need to do today and tomorrow to get there. So the more crystal clear you get in your vision, Now, this Elijah takes a lot of work for me. I got to write this stuff down every day. I got to write down positive affirmations. I got to write down my gratitude journal, what I'm grateful for, because I'm a very lucky guy, truly lucky.
Yeah, I believe at some point it was luck, but I still think that it was mostly your efforts.
Luck helps. If you can marry luck with just hard industry, hard work, hard effort, like the sky's the limit. Like you can go so far. But if you don't have luck, okay, you can't control that. It does stop you from working really hard. But they say, the harder you work, the more luck you get. So, but yeah, love opportunity.
Working hard to find luck. And going back to our main point, you transitioned from being a lawyer to being a CEO. Many
Yes.
attorneys hesitate to hire because they see it as an expense. You've experienced the opposite. What would you say is the true cost of trying to do everything by yourself?
Your happiness, your sanity, your mental health. You could do everything. If you're in a restaurant, sure, you could wash the dishes, serve the customers, market the restaurant, but like you're not going to have a happy life. So hire people to do the marketing, to wash dishes, to make the food, right? And if you love, marketing, just market the firm. If you love waiting tables, you want to just do this, do whatever you like to do, but don't do stuff that doesn't light you up, because you're going to just be freaking miserable. I believe I found where I should be in life. And so I'm comfortable. I'm at peace with that and very, fulfilled with that. Because again, a lot of lawyers, we serve our businesses. The business should serve us. I've written, Elijah, recently I'm telling you, like on Reddit, I'm trying to explore Reddit, right? And Reddit,
Yeah.
LinkedIn is like, let's be happy professionals. Let's be, let's have a happy professional life. Reddit's like, you can't be happy. Well, what's your problem, man? You got to like work your butt off. There's no time management. Like, it's almost like we're slaves to our business. And I'm like, no, we are not. We are not. And so funny, the different rooms you walk in online, the
Different platforms, different languages, actually.
yes.
So going back to hiring, if you were to give a solo practitioner an advice, what kind of employee should they look for their first hire?
Well, it's never been easier to find people, because you could find people on, in the US, I'd say United States, wherever you want, there's billions of people who would love to work with you. I like to hire people, Elijah, who are competitive and humble and smart. Like, I don't care where you went to school. If you're an attorney, yeah, you got to, graduate law school and be a licensed attorney. That's just the ante to play the game. But like, I don't care about like achievement. I almost like people who have something to prove. They've been overlooked, right? It's like you're running a professional team and you're drafting a player. I don't want the guy or the gal who's like, just has it all figured out and is arrogant. I want that player who's been overlooked and is hungry for success. That I can run with that player. That's who I want on my team. We can run together with that.
So what's the three qualities? Confident, humble, and what's the other one?
Humble. So competitive, humble, and smart. And those things I like to look for, right? Because people, they want to learn. I like to hire people who like to read books. I see a lot of books behind you right now. Like, I like, hiring readers, because it shows me like they kind of like to geek out a little bit they like to learn stuff. They don't have it all the answers. They're trying to learn to get better. They know they have a lot to learn. And I love that. I love readers. Or just like passion, just passionate people. My story is about how messed up I am, how screwed up I am, the dark things I experienced, and how with luck and hard work and timing, I was able to come out of that and find a happy life that I probably wasn't supposed to have, according to statistics and science. And so I wrote a memoir called Scaling the Wall about my struggles, my 30s with mental health, to work on my anger that had calcified as a child and gotten very hard as an adult. And I had to work on that. But Elijah, I find personally, when you work on your mental health, yourself, your professional success goes up, because you're clear thinking, you're more grounded and grateful and less hostile. Like, I used to be a very angry man, but like when I got happier and healthier, the business went up. And that wasn't coincidental, because if you're a happy lawyer, you're going to attract happy team members. If you're an unhappy lawyer, no one's going to want to work with you, frankly. If they do, they probably can't find anything else. They go, all right, I'll go work for this jerk. He whatever, right? So who knows? I'm just saying that, like, I had to do a lot of work, and that book is a very naked history of my struggles. And I wrote it. I'm actually going to like lose money. I don't even care. I didn't write the book to make money. I wrote it to share my story. I found a lot of success of showing my vulnerabilities. On LinkedIn, I never say like, we're so good. Like, look at us. I'm like, we got problems here, but we're trying to figure it out. Just like me and you, like all of us, we're all trying to figure stuff out. If you're on social and talking about how great you are, people are going to tune you out. The algorithm will suppress your content. If you talk about your struggles, your successes, and conquering your struggles, dealing with the struggles, being an honest human being, that resonates. I think that's why I found a voice on LinkedIn was I got in early, but also just like being real. And again, going back a few minutes before we talked, giving value, right? Here are some things that have worked for me. Here are some things that didn't. Just like, but keep showing up, doing the work, shoveling the dirt, like we said before. Just a lot of content about struggle. And I found an audience that can relate.
Now that you're in your 50s, Chris, do you think that
40s, almost 50.
Okay,
40.
40.
October. Thank you.
Almost in your 50s, almost in your golden years. What do you think is the next objective for Chris Earley? Would it be networking with other attorneys and, writing more books? What's up? What are
community impact? Like, I'm not chasing personal injury checks. I'm chasing impact. The business is working very well. Thank God, God willing, that continues. I'm chasing community impact because my kids are growing up. They're going to leave the house at some point. I want impact somehow. I want to talk to kids who are growing up in addiction-filled houses, kids who are being, victims of trauma. That's my audience. I want to talk more to kids and share my struggles so they can hopefully learn something and avoid all my mistakes. But yeah, I think just impact is what I'm looking at in my next chapter.
You've really made a significant impact. And right now we're going to go to the rapid fire questions. And once I ask you a question, you just answer right away. Ready, Chris?
Sure. Yes, sir.
All right, let's begin. Coffee or tea?
Coffee, baby.
First job you've ever had?
I was a landscaper.
Best investment you've made in your business?
Reading books.
One business book every attorney should read?
Oh my God, it's
Is it Alex Hormozy?
The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. That just like gave me whiplash and taught me, okay, I'm done being the practitioner. Or the technician. I want to be the entrepreneur, the visionary. The E-Myth.
What's one thing lawyers waste too much time on?
Busy work, email, phone calls, meetings. Just cut the fat.
One habit that made you do a better CEO?
Time management.
If you weren't a lawyer today, what do you think you would be doing today?
Making music.
What's something people are surprised to learn about Chris Earley?
I was a really angry man for decades. I was very angry. I was, and the worst thing is to be angry and to become a lawyer because you think like, I have a license to be a jerk. It's okay to be a jerk. I'm a lawyer. Like that was like the worst thing. So I had a lot of stuff I had to deal with, and that comes from upbringing and damage that was caused during those times. I had to work that stuff out, worked it out, became a happier person, happier business owner. And now we're just, God willing, kicking ass now and keep kicking ass forever.
Mm-hmm. And Chris, there are probably law students listening to this who didn't get the LSAT scores they wanted. Young lawyers who didn't get hired by the firms they dreamed of. Attorneys who feel like they're behind compared to everybody else. If you could sit down with that younger version of yourself, the one that's looking at their disappointing LSAT scores and wondering if he'd ever make it, what would you tell him today?
Be very bold. I had a law student message me on LinkedIn 2 hours ago, similar question. Be bold. Take risks. I talked about that recently. I'm in my 40s taking big risks. If you're in your 20s or 30s, you have a longer horizon if things don't work out on those risks. So you have time on your side, right? If you're young, take risks. If you're older, take risks, right? Take chances, be bold, be persistent, and just don't freaking give up.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Chris. And thank you so much for joining us on the Answering Cases podcast. Your story is proof that success isn't determined by test scores, prestigious schools, or getting the perfect job right out of law school. It's built through resilience, continuous learning, and surrounding yourself with great people and having the courage to keep moving forward when others would quit. For everybody listening, if you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with another attorney or law student who could benefit from Chris's story. And Chris, do you have any closing thoughts for our audience?
Elijah, I appreciate the opportunity. You do a very nice job. I'd encourage the audience. Say yes to opportunities. You messaged me on a Sunday. I got right back and said, I'd love to do your podcast. Say yes to opportunities. Show up, right? You can say no and sit at home and wonder why is life not happening good for me? Like, say yes, get out there, help people, do good work, live a big life, and go for it. Go get yours.
Conversations beyond the courtroom.